Hello everyone, my name's Christine Lavelle and I'm here at Writtle University College, and I'm going to take you around on a wee walk around our Mediterranean garden with an Alpine Rockery at the end there. So if you're up for it, let's go! Well, here we are at the rock garden end of our Mediterranean display. We've got the pink cushion flowers of Armeria maritima. I'm just going to zoom in on these. This was a plant that we did recently in the RHS ident. And then behind it we have Helianthemum rhodanthicarneum, little Mediterranean rock rose. And then right to the right there's a beautiful big clump of Armeria maritima alba. We're just zooming out again. Just on the ledge there you can see a bright green beacon, and I'm just going to zoom in. That's Euphorbia polychroma. And then up next to our Armeria maritima alba is this lovely Saxifraga cross urbium, the London Clyde, looking wonderful at the moment. And then just behind it, just if we get up and we see if we can have a little peek through, it's normally quite an invasive plant. This is Chiastophyllum oppositefolium, and it's I've planted it in this little crevice in here because it can take the shade, but it's not really doing its thing that it normally does, which is take over. I've got one here, and I've put another one just behind the corner here. That's on a north facing rock face just here, and one down here. And the entrance is looking amazing. Bit weedy, obviously because there's no gardeners here at the moment, or the one that is here is doing the watering, keeping the glasshouse plants alive. So yes, oh, we've got a nice little dianthus down here. Last time we came around here it wasn't in flower. This is a lovely native of the Austrian Alps. This is Dianthus alpinus, looking spectacular. Looking wonderful at the moment is this Cistus cross hybridus. It is just a massive colour, small little rock rose, gets to round about a metre in height. And then as we scan to the back, we've got the Cortaderia Celiana pumila just coming out with some new flower heads. Coming around we've got a lovely Iris germanica, the bearded iris. So looking wonderful is the Iris germanica that you can see at the back here. I'm a bit unsure of the cultivar, and I have tried to look it up a few times because it's slightly earlier than most of the irises, and it's white and it's got a bluish tinge to it. So I probably will go and ask a specialist nursery at some point. I'll take some pictures and then send it on. And then just behind here, looking absolutely wonderful at the moment, is Euphorbia Caraceus subspecies Wilfinii, and I deliberately planted this one here so you would get the contrast against the white birch there, the Himalayan birch, Betula utilis variety Jackmontii. Now these cabbage type leaves that you can see just in front, this is the biennial plant, this is Verbascum. This particular one is Thapsii, so this is a mullein which grows up. After it flowers it dies off, but it's got these big pyramidal spikes, giving a bit of vertical form in the garden. So zooming round our Mediterranean garden, there's the spikes coming up, the flower spikes of Stipa gigantea. So just going to move in a little bit closer. Probably my favourite Mediterranean plant. I absolutely love it. It's starting to look really good. We're only in mid-May now, so it's mid-May. It will continue to flower for a little while, then you'll get the seed heads, and the seed heads can look amazing going right the way into up to Christmas and then into the new year. So a really good value for money plant. Now here's an unusual one, the yellow spikes that you can see on this one. This is Asphodeline lutea. See if I can get a little zoom in here. There we are, there's the flower spikes of it. and it's got these long linear foliage. So the foliage is nothing to write home about. It's these flower spikes that you can see here. Only flowers for a few weeks of the year, so I wouldn't say it was one of the best value for money plants, but still nice when it is in flower. And then I do like foliage plants. This is Helichrysum italicum. The silver foliage looks fantastic, you know, from the springtime right the way through the seasons into the autumn. Still looks not bad in the winter, but I do particularly like this one in the Mediterranean garden. The silver foliage against a lot of the yellows that you would find here, and the whites look spectacular. We've got another rock rose at Writtle University College, and the one that we normally grow is Rhodanthicarneum, but this one's Helianthemum, and this one I'm sure is Wisley Cream. But it's a lovely whitey cream colour with the silver foliage. It does brilliant at the front of the border. And then behind it, yeah, a great architectural plant, this one here. We've used it in several locations within the Mediterranean garden to create a bit of harmony and unity within it, and this is Phormium tenax variegatum. It's obviously evergreen, but the spikes of it do actually, of the leaves, do very well underneath the canopy of the evergreen foliage of this cedar that it's got above. You find it quite tricky to find plants that will grow under here, but this one doesn't do bad. Now, coming into the entrance of our college here, we've got Salvia officinalis, and this particular cultivar is the more glaucous coloured one, which is Bird Garden. As we move in, mentioned it earlier, but isn't it wonderful? This is just the best plant ever. This is Stipa gigantea, the golden oats grass. The sun's beaming down on it, and it looks as if the actual flower heads are illuminated up by some sort of film set light that's on it, but obviously it's just the sunshine. But it does really come alive, this plant. Now we have, I'll zoom in here, this is you could put this one in an Alpine Rockery. This is a little allium, an ornamental onion. Quite an unusual one. It's not really rare, but you don't see it around that often, and it's called Allium Caratavense. Now here's a sight for sore eyes. We've got Virginia Brettingham Ruby. The leaves have converted back to the normal green colour now. They do go a lovely pink colour in the winter, and then behind it, that we saw from the road, is a Euphorbia caraceus subspecies Bothnia. Now we do have a massive clump in our Mediterranean garden of Cynara cardunculus, which is the cardoon. It has got these most amazing big thistle-like flowers, but it's also grown for its cut leaf dissected silver foliage. It looks amazing. And the light's shining down on that, and it's certainly causing this area to be lit up around it. I think this plant here can take a bit of everything. This is Geranium macrorhizum, which is the big root geranium. This particular one here is Bevan's variety, so I'll just zoom in so you can see the flower. It's quite a nice deep pink colour. Doesn't flower for a huge amount of time, but you've got this lovely foliage for the rest of the season going into the autumn, and then it dies down. And then on the other side of the path, you've got this particular one here, which again is a Geranium macrorhizum, but this particular cultivar is called Spessart, and I think Spessart's probably my favourite one, and the reason for that is that I think it's just a bit more delicate, the whitey pink flowers, rather than the more sort of garish, deeper pink flowers of the Bevan's variety. I'm going to take you through our little walkway and the sedums. We've still got the seed heads on. We haven't got round to cutting them off, unfortunately, but they still look quite nice. It won't be long before they'll be starting to produce the new ones, which will flower in the autumn. We've just got plain sedum herbstfreud, on the left hand side, and here's a slightly larger leafed one with pinker flowers, light pink flowers, sorry, and this is Matrona. I think I prefer Matrona over the other, but if I've got a big enough garden, which I have to look after here at Writtle University College, I'd have both of them. Stiper. And I'm making our way around the corner. And I can have a closer look at this lovely iris that I was telling you about. I'll just go in for a zoom. There we are. Over there. This is a lovely little Libertia peregrinans. The first place I ever saw this was Logan Botanic Gardens, and it was underneath a tree, so it was in the semi-shade, and it was next to GM Mrs. Bradshaw. And Mrs. Bradshaw was in flower. She's got red potentilla type flowers, so the red against this lovely bronzy rusty colour was absolutely spectacular. I've seen it in a number of other gardens, not widely grown. It's a little bit more expensive than other plants because it takes a little while to establish, but once you've got it, it really likes this space here. It likes a more free draining soil, and it's done extremely well. I might actually take some of it out and transplant it to other parts of the garden from here. So that's Libertia from its flower. I learnt this one is Senecio Sunshine, but it's now changed its name to Brachyglottis Sunshine. It's got these greenish daisy yellow flowers on it that I'm not that keen on, so we cut it back and then you just get the silver. And here's this Ampelodesmus Mauritanicus. I wondered where the Mauritanicus came from, but it's a country in West Africa. I was wondering if it was Mauritius, but it's not. It's a West African plant, and it's native right the way up to Libya. Now we're getting into the deep dark shade here, the dry shade. It's very weedy in here now. Gonna have to do a bit of weeding, but just to say, this is an area where we've got Sarcococca confusa, and that's done exceptionally well here in the dry shade. We also tried Sarcococca hookeriana variety Digyna, but it fried up within about a week, so we ditched that one. And we've got some more Sarcococca confusa to bulk it out, but it does extremely well underneath these. We've got a couple of pines up here, and we've got the canopy of the cedar as well. This was an area just right underneath the cedar here that we found was a bit of a nightmare to get plants that would grow here, but this Euonymus fortunei has done extremely well. We've got this particular one over here, and then underneath the pine we've got Emerald Gaiety, which has done extremely well also. Underneath the canopy of the cedar we've also got these phormiums, the purple phormium. Phormium still with its winter coat on. We've got some Agave Americana. We dress them up in this horticultural fleece, and we've already had them out here for one season, and this is going into the second time we've done that, and they've survived. I have to say, the one that's furthest under the canopy and hence being more dry, more arid the soil conditions, that one comes through the winter better than the one that is near the drip line. Oh, and a plant that I really wanted to put in here, really wanted to try because it was a very difficult area, was this Phlomis. We've seen Phlomis fruticosa, which is a shrubby Jerusalem sage. This is the herbaceous Jerusalem sage, and it's thriving. We planted this one up a couple of years ago, and it really struggled for about the first year, but it's looking amazing. This area that you can see either side of the path is a bit tricky as well, especially on the right hand side where we've got large evergreen shrubs, and there was a little slither of soil just right in front of it that we couldn't really think of what to put in there that wasn't going to take over. So we tried Euphorbia amygaloides variety Robbie, and that's done exceptionally well. Look at that. Some flower on this side. We did have Geranium macrorhizum, but it seems to have died out a bit, so we might just put a few more euphorbias in. On this side of the path we've got Euonymus Emerald Gaiety. And another good one for the shade is this geranium. This one's Phaeum Album, but I'll just zoom in so you can have a look. The leaves, pretty flowers, but the leaves do tend to get powdery mildew if it's very dry. Virginias are good in the dry shade once you get them established. Looking lovely, this clump here. Some more Sarcococca confusa, and then the three variegated plants that you see here just starting to get themselves established is the privet, Ligustrum ovalifolium aureum. So coming back in this direction we've got the geranium, a little lobelia here called Kaleidoscope, a Phlomis Russellana, underneath a tricky patch. The weeds don't tend to mind it though. Out past the Helichrysum italicum. Oh, here's a nice little one for dry shade. This is a New Zealand plant. This is Carex testacea. We were having trouble with this area here. It's a bit in the shade, it's a bit dry around here, so we put some more phormiums. Why not, if it works? And look, I can see a greater spotted Mick Lavelle, and I think he's waiting to go home. He's on his phone. So that's it here from Writtle University College. I hope you enjoyed your little walk around our Mediterranean garden and our rock garden today, because I'll tell you what, I certainly did. It's looking great. I just probably need another couple of days to come in and do a bit of weeding, but I'm only allowed on one day a week to do some filming. So that's it for this week. I'll do some more filming next week. So goodbye for now.